How to choose the best legal structure for your social enterprise. Hello, my name is Solène. I'm a social entrepreneurship consultant and the founder of Creators for Good. And every week I share with you tips and tricks for your social entrepreneurship journey. Today I'm answering a question I received by Karen, who lives in Ukraine, and she asked, hello Solène, I'm a big fan of your weekly videos. I really like what you do with Creators for Good. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Karen. I am preparing to launch my own social enterprise, and I'm so excited and at the same time a bit overwhelmed with all the things I have to figure out. It's my first enterprise creation, and as a former employee in a big corporation, everything is new to me. I can relate, and I think many people can relate to that as well. My biggest challenge nowadays is figuring out a legal structure for my social enterprise. There are no specific legal structures here in Ukraine, and I'm a bit lost. Any tips or best practices to find out the best solution? All right. So Karen, actually, it's a very good question, and every entrepreneur has to go through the less fun aspect of starting your own social enterprise or your own enterprise, which is the paperwork and everything that has to be done, even though it's not like directly related with creating a social impact. In my opinion, it's not exactly a question of how, but a question of when. So apparently, as you mentioned, in Ukraine there is no specific social enterprise legal structure, which is okay. I mean, it's the case in most countries actually. So it means that you will have to start a classic enterprise, and there are many forms. I won't, dig into the specific case of creating a social enterprise in Ukraine in this video, but whatever country you are in, because I'm doing this video not just for Karen, but for everyone who's facing this challenge at the beginning of their social enterprise journey, you have to choose a status in your country. And before starting to dig into all the options, something that you can do right away is to find out how much time it takes to register a company. Most probably the answer will be a few days. It's in most countries, including Turkey where I live, where things can take much more time than in the Western world. It's less than a week. Why do you need to know that? Because then I want you to put that onto the next stage of your enterprise box, and to forget about that and concentrate on building an offer and validating your social business idea and basically finding your first customer. Why? Because before having a customer, you don't actually need, so before trading for a service or a product, you don't actually need to have a legal structure behind you. You need a legal structure to be able to invoice, but not for anything else. And the reason why I want you to do that, to know how much time it will take and to put that for later, because you will only need to register your social enterprise once you have your first client. The second reason why you should do that is because basically in most countries, you can check for Ukraine, but the taxes will be different from the first year in business than the other years. Usually you pay less taxes when it's your first year in business. So you don't want to register right away before, it might take a few months before you have your first client. And you don't want to waste that first few months with like zero income, because paying zero taxes on zero income is, not, that valuable. And so basically wait until you have your first client. So your first year in business, like legally, is actually a year where you will have income and expenses, and where you can benefit from a lower tax rate. The third reason why you should wait for your first client is because your legal structure will depend on the type of business that you will end up starting. Because basically, when you're at the idea stage, there are still so many things to figure out that it's hard to validate which type of enterprise is the best fit for you. If you have a local business, a national business, an international business, it really will affect the type of structure you should create. Also, if you're dealing with corporate clients or not, it will depend how it will affect the way you register for VAT and so on. And so basically, having a first client is the best way to validate all your hypotheses that you are drafting during the idea phase. And so don't worry too much about your legal structure. It can be done later on. Worry about validating everything, and once you have validated and that the hypothesis is validated because you have someone who says, yeah, okay, I want to pay for that, then you can start your legal structure. You can actually tell your first client, okay, great, well, actually, we are in the process of creating the company legally, so I will send you the invoice in 7 days. Most people will be okay to wait 7 days to have an invoice, and then hire an accountant, because you will have already a first client saying they want to pay, so now you can start spending money on this type of this type of items, and the accountant can help you to choose the best legal status and to register it before you can send your first invoice to your first client. Voila, I hope this video was helpful. Don't hesitate to share your own experience in the comments below, and I'll see you next week for the next weekly tip. Bye bye.